Well, Sabbath greetings to everyone. Hope you've had a good week. You might be able to tell my voice is just a little bit off here this evening. I've been hit by the old Wisconsin sinus bomb. So been struggling a little bit, been a little bit tired and not quite 100%, but as far as I know, nothing communicable or nothing contagious, just my sensitive sinuses here in this wonderful Wisconsin climate. But I hope it doesn't distract too much. I wanted to keep going through the Proverbs. We're Proverbs 27, and it's an important. There's some important Proverbs in here that I want to cover. I won't read the whole chapter, but we'll go through a few of the very important Proverbs here in chapter 27. But I hope you've had a good week. I hope it's been productive for you, and I hope that you're gearing up for a wonderful Sabbath, depending on when you listen to this. It's obviously, you probably can see behind me out the window there, it is already the Sabbath here. We've been here for a little while in the Sabbath, but not for very long. So I'm going to try to get this video up. I don't want to get too wordy. I'm already over a minute already. So we'll go through Proverbs 27 and cover some of the more important, meaningful Proverbs here. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. If you really think about that and meditate on any one of these Proverbs, there's so much wisdom in it. Don't boast about tomorrow, for you don't know what a day may bring. It is very important to live in the now, to make sure that every day is taken as another day of our precious lives. And so we don't want to spend too much time boasting about tomorrow, but live in the day. We don't know what tomorrow may bring, so we want to make sure that we just live in the now and take full advantage of the time that God has given us now to change and grow and build character. Chapter 2 or verse 2 here says, "Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips." Very important. I think we've all met certain ones. Hopefully we don't have quite as many in the church, but it certainly can happen at times where they're just constantly boasting about themselves and their accomplishments and things like that. It's very simple what he's saying here. It's not, that trait of humility is not there if you're constantly praising from your own mouth. You're praising yourself. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth. Let that come from somebody else that sees what you're doing, and not from your own mouth. A stranger, and not your own lips. So it's important not to boast about ourselves, but we want to hear praise from others. Let's see, in verse 4, "Wrath is cruel, and anger a torrent, but who's able to stand before jealousy?" To be jealous. Jealousy has come between a lot of good friends, and it's messed up a lot of relationships. So we have to fight against that tendency, that human tendency to have jealousy for other people in other situations. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. But there's two sides of that. Somebody has to give the rebuke. Oftentimes the harder side is to be able to take that rebuke and take that correction. But it's important that we're able to do that. Faithful are the wounds, verse 6, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful." It's better to hear the truth from your friends than smooth things from an enemy. That's basically what this is saying. If you have somebody who's a real friend, they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to try to be honest with you in a loving way. And that's, a very important proverb. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Let's see here. Let's look at in verse 9 here. It says, "Ointment and perfume." There's quite a bit about friendship here in this particular proverb. "Ointment and perfume delight the heart, and the sweetness of a man's friend gives delight by hearty counsel." So again, it's not just about being a friend and telling other people what they want to hear. It's about honesty and being able to give counsel when it's needed. And true friendship is one that can survive those things. That we can bounce ideas off of each other, and certainly at times we can give hearty counsel, and it's important that we're able to give it and receive it. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, or go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. I want to pick up on the don't forsake your own friend. We have friends. If we call others friends, then we want to make sure that we're there for them, that we don't forsake them, especially when things get difficult. The friends are there to help and to serve when things get hard. Let's see here. Verse 12 is an important proverb. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. The simple pass on and are punished. So if we foresee evil, we want to get out of the way. We don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're going to be in the middle of something that could end very badly. The sign of spiritual maturity is that you foresee evil and avoid it. So we have to avoid situations where we're going to be put, where we're going to be in tempting situations and things like that. We stay away from those things. Let's see, in verse 15, verse 15 here, it says, a continual dripping on a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever restrains her restrains the wind and grasps oil with his right hand. A contentious woman very quickly becomes annoying, like that continual drip. So, that's for the ladies out there. I would never accuse any of you. I don't think we have a lot of those around the area, but it's something to think about. All you ladies out there, a contentious woman, kind of like a continual drip. Just the complaining, the contention, the just stirring things up constantly. It's not an attribute that we want, that God wants for women to have, to be contentious in that way. Certainly a wife or a contentious, in this case it's talking about a contentious woman, not necessarily a wife, but there are many proverbs covering contentious wives as well. Verse 17, the famous one here is iron sharpens iron. So a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Iron sharpens iron. That's why we need to get together on the Sabbath. We need to get together at other times and talk about spiritual things, because iron sharpens iron. It's a principle, spiritual principle. Let's see here. Verse 19, as in water face reflects face, so a man's heart reveals the man. So, we really can't hide from who we are ultimately inside. Our heart reveals the man. Just like you see a face reflected in the water, our hearts are a reflection of who we are. So a man's heart reveals the man. Let's see here. Okay. Here in verse 21, this is another interesting one. The refining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, and a man is valued by what others say of him. So this is certainly talking about reputation. What kind of reputation do we have? A man is valued by what others say of him. Not that it's always going to be totally accurate, but overall we all have a certain reputation. That particular person is, fill in the blank. They're patient and kind, or they're impatient and angry, or whatever it is. So we all have a reputation, and we want to try to have the best reputation we can by having the kind of character that God wants us to have. Verse 23, be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and attend to your herds, for riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. If we are diligent in the way that we do business, in our work, then God always provides for our needs. There's a principle there. We need to be diligent to know the state of our flock. So if we look at that just on an individual level, I have a certain perspective as a pastor, but just looking at this as a member of God's church, how diligent are we to know the state of our flocks, to know the state of our household? How are our kids doing? How's our spouse doing? How are our finances? Are we diligent in making sure that those things are in order, that we're doing everything decently and in order? there's a principle there. If we're diligent in those ways, God is going to take care of the needs of His flock. But we have to do our part. Now, when the hay is removed and the tender grass shows itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in, the lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats the price of a field. So if you're doing your job day by day, making sure you're diligent and doing the work diligently, then when the time comes, your needs are going to be taken care of. In this case, again, it's that shepherd's analogy. The goats the price of a field. You shall have enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your maidservants. So we need to be diligent and practice diligence in everything that we do. So there's 27. I know we didn't go through every single one of them, but we made it through Proverbs 27. I want to just say I hope you all have a tremendous Sabbath. We look forward to seeing the brethren in Milwaukee this Sabbath. Looking forward to Spokesman's Club as well before services and then services, and then of course on Sunday the big Lego party. So we're looking forward to that very much. So I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic, and profitable Sabbath. I love you all and appreciate your prayers for me and for my family. I'm praying for you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again real soon.